Hi, I'm Avon, and in this podcast series, we're going to be joining Zach on his journey from zero to $100,000 service business. And we're starting from absolutely nothing. We're starting from scratch with a uni student who is well on their path to starting as an entrepreneur for the very first time. So join us on this podcast as we unpack and we meet every week and we go through the problems, the challenges, and give ideas on how to grow. And you can learn something too. Just follow along, check out our journey, make sure you let us know what you think in the comments and if you think we should be doing something different. But otherwise, check it out. Hope to see you in the podcast.
Welcome to the Business Octopus, where we tackle the complex world of business from every angle. Whether you're scaling up, leading teams, or navigating market challenges, get ready for insights and conversations that drive real success.
I just graduated high school in November and I've just been on a bit of a break, and I start in March at Griffiths Uni studying Bachelor of Advanced Business with honours. So that's quite exciting.
And you're in down on the Gold Coast as well?
Yes, down on the coast.
And so just, I guess for the recording, Anil, what, just from the basis of what our plan was, you gave me a bit of a backstory on where you saw an opportunity. And then I guess we'll talk through what we think the opportunity is and how we're going to pounce. So do you want to lead off with that?
Yeah, where we live is a kind of a unique spot. It's a gated community of about 1,000 homes, and there's many contractors that come to the house, and I guess many challenges with some of the older style houses. And there doesn't seem to be, from what we can see, a service that an internal kind of resident runs and operates. So we thought there was an opportunity to create something around that. And with Zach having some time before university, it might have been kind of a bit of a sort of start to see where it got to. And we had lots of ideas, but started implementing or helping Zach implement a few of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about, running this as an experiment over the next 12 months. And even if, nothing comes of it, if we win or if we fail, it's going to be an amazing experience for you. And in particular, if you're studying business and just to get that hands-on, because most people, they go through university and all they've touched is the books. They haven't really gone and, figured out the financials, dealt with a real customer, and all that sort of stuff. So we were talking about pool cleaning, not pool cleaning. No, we were talking about cleaning gutters. There's a website in America called suckmyguttersclean.com. It's it certainly gets attention. Maybe I've come to cleanthepool.com would have equivalent like marketing value. What is it that you want to do? Where do you see the opportunity?
Yeah, I think just the fact that we're in a really local community here, and it's a lot of, everyone knows each other. So I think for a resident to be starting a local business, that I think that has an edge over some of the bigger businesses that would provide those services. Whereas if a resident decides to come and book service with me instead of like Jim's gutter cleaning or something like that, another big cleaning service, they just get that sense of community rather than helping the resident out.
And I think, like, given that you're a gated community, like you said, high end, you've probably got a lot of entrepreneurs, and they'll look at you and go, oh, here's this young gun having a go. Yeah, I'll support you, mate. Like that I think is going to be super valuable. You've got a really good positioning there. So what is it that you want to actually do? I know we said cleaning gutters. Like, what's the actual thing?
So our first idea was street signs now. So we thought we go on a Chinese supplier that laser cuts really nice backlit signs that are solar powered.
I think you might have one of your first customers. I think you've already got customers, but you may have just picked up another one. Just moved into a new place, and I've been thinking of that very sign as soon as Anil mentioned it. So please send me some materials after this. But I think so you want to go more down that path and not down the cleaning?
Oh, I think I'd be open to both. There's no harm in doing both of it. selling a product and doing a service, I think is both beneficial. So I could definitely install the signs for the customers and then clean the gutters as well.
I think part of it was also to build that relationship through something that was relatively in need when, you go around and you see a lot of the signs there, or there's additional ones. So you kind of go, okay, well, let me install that. And by the way, we do this and this and this. The other services, but felt that the street sign had both the kind of the value of the product, but then also the install, and then you can get to know them a bit better.
Oh yeah, you need that foot in the door product, something to start the relationship, and then you just go and then. I reckon, particularly like it sounds, you could just get on a push bike, roll around and deliver flyers into mailboxes. So, you really only need, jump on Canva, and then you can get a whole bunch ordered. Like it's so much easier. It used to be that you have to go to a graphic designer, and then take that file to a printer, and then like go and handle all this crap. But you could just like I get packs of 250. That's my test run, and do one, try like maybe 3 streets, figure that out, and then do the next batch and go, all right, well, what was our feedback from that? Instead of I've done it once where I've made like 5,000 flyers, and I never used them because I just didn't feel like the positioning was right, or something was off. So a lot of mistakes were made. So I guess through this, you've got us to guide you, and you've got full-time access to Anil and me once a week. And I guess my job here is let's capture the journey. Let's bundle it up, and you're okay with it being public?
Yeah, exactly.
I think like it's amazing marketing. You probably get people from other estates calling you up and going, "Hey, how do we start this?" Or or what you could even do is on your marketing when you do your flyers, as seen on YouTube, hit the link,
Yeah.
and then they can follow your journey as well. And then we could do interviews at the gate. You'd be like, "Oh, here's Tom. We've done his house, 3 times, and what do you think? Oh, yeah, that's amazing." Client testimonials, feedback loop. Oh, that'd be so good.
Mm.
All right. So what are your fears, doubts, and hesitations?
I think just obviously the risk of it not working, but I don't have as many fears on something like this, whereas it's more I've got sort of nothing to lose. If the product fails, we don't lose money. It's just try it, order it we only order the signs when customers order and we only clean the gutters when they ask us to. So I'm not spending anything prior to starting it. So I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of risks involved in it, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's nowhere to go but up. But I think in terms of sorry, I'm stealing the mic here, Anil. Feel free to jump in at any time. The one thing I was thinking is like eventually you're gonna have to start thinking about, are you getting on a ladder or are you using a big pipe and a vacuum? What happens if you obviously if you have to have a ladder, right? That's only about $200. Like they're pretty cheap. You can get a really good ladder. What are the height of the homes? What's the access? Do you need like ropes and insurance, or hire a cherry picker? Maybe that's something that throughout this process, we task you with a few things to go and research or go and do. And I think, early on a bit of analysis is good, but, understanding maybe margins and I think we should just, like, if we do this over a year, we got to commit to this, and we'll be chatting every week, and I'll be editing the episodes down, and then it'll be in your ear every day. How are you with this? How are you with that? So I guess we'll come back and report. Is that something you're willing to commit to?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, I think with the main ideas, I think it was kind of to almost Uberize the model where people weren't getting up ladders or people weren't getting the window clean. It was all kind of having a hand selected, I guess, group of trade that could be called on. But again, it's all kind of consumption based. We're not having to hire anyone or have the insurance if they've covered all that, but vet them out so that they would, potentially be the best people in their field. And they may have, again, it's something for Zach to think about. Does he want it under, his brand and things like that? Because I guess we're going to start thinking about that side of things, the marketing. Is there a name? Is there a logo? To start to bring it all together?
So you want to more build the business of rather than do the doing.
Yeah, I think that's what we sort of discussed on, but I would be open to learning how to do it myself to start with.
Mm.
And then once we've made some revenue off it, then look to Uberize it. But yeah, I think that was the long-term goal, to just have it, have a team that does it all, and then just the backbone is just me ordering it, doing all the digital stuff, and then having laborers do all the tasks.
I think that's wise. I think it is also wise, learning some hard lessons early on about customer service, about doing the work, what's involved. Because when you're on the phone talking to clients, and every business starts with like the simplest, minimalist like elements, and sometimes that's a bit of sweat equity. And I think that even like in particular, if we're going to create some content around this, we risk losing the audience if straight away you start with $1 million of startup capital. So we want to try and run this as a bit of an experiment. Like, how would other people do what you're planning to do? And it doesn't mean you have to go and cut your hands open like I have recently on gutters and things. It doesn't mean that you have to do all the work all the time, but it does mean that you need to understand the work.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I learned some life experience from that anyway. Learning how to do
Mm.
these things are also good down the track when I'm not obviously laboring then, but just as fixing my own house. But yeah, no, I definitely think you're right about that. Just doing it myself to learn,
Mm.
get my foot in the door about customer service and laboring. Yeah.
So what do you think, Anil? How do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not really sure. I mean, I think there's definitely, from a demand side, I think there's a demand for the product, at least from what I can see. And I think it's a good challenge for Zach as an entrepreneur just to go through that journey and see what works, what doesn't work. But we've certainly got the contacts and the kind of community to lean on. So I think the golf club's going to have to be a key part of it. So I'm just trying to work out how that could happen. Because again, it's once people get to know your name. So Zach's younger brother, Taj, he does a bake sale every, I don't know, few months. And he's a bit of a cult now. So people like see him, like last night we're in the pub and then people, oh, I've been to your bake sale. So he's kind of got that, built that community where he sits in one of the areas and sells his wares. So going to have to come up with something that might resonate in that area as well.
Could it be that a flyer goes out in every bag of baked goods? So when someone orders something from the bake sale, that there's, or like a business card or some kind of marketing material, because like you want to go on somebody else's, like not ride on someone else's coattail, but like a slipstream. You're riding behind a truck on a motorbike, you use less fuel, or in a car or whatever. That's the kind of thing. Like he's already got momentum with the people.
Yeah.
That's guerrilla marketing. I mean, the other one is you heard recently that someone put up fake parking tickets on all these cars in South Australia, and they were just for an e-commerce website. So it looked like a parking ticket, but if you look closer, it said, "Hey, get a 10% off your first order on such and such a t-shirt brand," or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I think that be also quite important, the medium and the media of communication, because these people are probably not IT savvy. So hitting a barcode and doing things is physical flying.
It needs to be simple.
Well, so when you say demographic, what do you know? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Centrico, where we are, is a lot of elderly people. And I think from past experiences, like delivering cookies for my mum, just their use of technology isn't amazing. So I think when these flyers are sent out, it just needs to be clear, simple instructions, like email this, or just, I think, nothing too techy. But there is still a mix of people around Centrico, but I think that seems to be the key demographic, that sort of retirement age group. But I think just a flyer that's easy accessible, I think would work really well, because then that suits everyone.
If you're studying, you're probably going to want some kind of asynchronous communication, maybe just say text to this number. And then the other one would be, you need a job management platform, because you don't want to keep marketing. You want to put these people on recurring maintenance over, we'll come quarterly, we'll come biannually, we'll come, once a year or something like that. And then it's like set and forget. You don't have to market hard to that person again. Or you give them the flyer with like something, they tear it off and get a coupon for $5 off or something. And, something that's going, like I worked with a client once and they were a vitamins, basically. They sold a whole bunch of vitamins and they had magazines with like a tear off bit. And then they had to write in there and then post their check in. These guys had $18 million of revenue. Salesforce went in and, we were bidding against Salesforce and they said, we said, you got to start with the core CRM. Let's keep doing what's working and then build on that. And they're like, no. We want to go digital. We just want to cut everything and just go e-commerce. And so they went from an $18 million business down to an $11 million business. And then meanwhile, Salesforce is suing the company for not paying the licenses. But the thing that worked was they had an older demographic audience that were dealing with the mailbox, manual process of ordering. And they had a very successful, very profitable business. But because they didn't, you're accessing a diminishing like demographic, but plenty of people are not servicing them because they're all going digital. So you actually have an advantage by going old school, I think.
Yeah.
100%.
And then I think that whole documentation of the journey and getting it out. There's another actually really, one big social media page is a Facebook Century Code Locals page. So there you can advertise your services and then run that referral. So that's quite hard to get on. So they don't kind of just jump on whatever. I don't think you can promote it. Like you can do it in a way that, here's a video of Zach doing whatever, and then he offers X, Y, Z. So I think that'll be key. And the other one is if you're doing social media, there's plenty of prominent figures around here that would help. Obviously we know ex-cricketers and people around where we could, do stuff with those guys. And I think there's other social media people in here as well. That I forget that girl's name who's massive, but she is
Anna Paul,
that's it. So you try some. I'm not sure she would need anything, but you could always try.
Well, if you did go viral, like now we've got to think about how you capture that growth, because if it's a service business, you can only deliver a certain area. So, do you try to become like gyms where you're the parent marketing entity that then has subcontractors everywhere? So if you set the systems up right, you don't just have to be in that estate. You could have, people in, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne that are like almost like a franchise network you could create. So I don't know, like if the brand goes big enough, because the other thing too is like you should be doing your own social media. Yes, we're doing this, but on top, we're going to say to you, film yourself cleaning something and then just play it in 2 times or 3 times speed. Those pressure washing things go viral because people are like, so satisfying. Yeah. Personally can't stand it, but hey, I'll watch you. I'll give you some watch hours. All right. So where to from here?
Yeah, I think once this is finished, I definitely am setting up the social media. I'm just looking for name, logo, bit of a slogan, something a bit catchy that gets people in. I think just something that covers all the services that I look to provide, and then get ready to start posting. And from there.
All right, the first house. Our one's got the first sign on. So
we've got the first street sign.
Right.
We already uncovered some issues there with the attachment, so we learned something the first time.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's why we had a test run.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think in this process, we should run it like we're going to run our up-level sessions. And so what we're going to ask you is we're going to give you a set of tasks to achieve between now and next week. And then next week, we're going to review what you did. And then we're going to talk through what worked, what didn't. And we're going to give you another set of tasks. So, we want to talk through the learnings, how, the physicalities of things, and then also, give you the outcomes and then keep you accountable to make sure they're happening. Some things might be bigger goals that might take, a couple of months. Some things might be, right, immediately you can do this, and this. And so, definitely reach out to us and try to you know, if you got any questions in the interim about the thing that we've tasked you on. But ideally, we want to give you sort of 3 to 5 goals between now and the next week and the next week and the next week, so that throughout all of those, by the time we get to the end of the year, you're making, let's say, what did we say the goal was? And then we go for $1 million in revenue in year one.
That was my
Jeez. Wow. Okay.
I said something like, unless the opportunity is worth $1 million, I won't get out of bed for it. So
Right. Okay. Well, why don't we be ballsy? Like, hey, if we fail and get you to 500,000, is that a bad thing?
That is not a bad thing at all. I'm very happy with that.
If we got you to 50 grand, do you reckon you'd be happy with that?
Yeah, I would be very happy with 50.
You'd have a year's salary, I reckon, no matter what. You'd have, like, provided you actually do the work. I mean, we can say all these things, but look at what you got behind you. You've got expert advice. You've got a branding and marketing engine that's going to help you along here. You're going to like course correct consistently throughout the direction, instead of, you know, spending 6 months doing the wrong thing and then figuring it out that you shouldn't have been doing that thing. So I think there's a really good chance. And if we can get that leverage play and look at, you know, those other revenue streams, the question I have is, in order to get to $1 million, what is the time commitment you have to put to this?
So sorry, the time
Commitment. Yeah.
Well, I start uni in March, and it's a new program which is now all digitally. So
Okay.
I essentially have 3 classes a week that go for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, all online. And then for the rest of that time, I've either just got a part-time job or cricket training. So time-wise, I'm actually quite available, which is, I think it's really good that I'm doing something like this, because I think this is now the perfect time to be starting. It was probably this time last year in high school. Last year is probably a bit too hard to be committing, but we picked a really good time to start it now.
Yeah. Well, if this is your part-time job and you're earning more than the average Macca's worker, then I don't think it's going to be a bad thing.
I think $1 million might be a bit ambitious. I think probably
All right.
50 to 100 could be good for this.
All right. Why don't we start with 100, given that it's your first business? And hey, yeah, so we want a bit of a stretch goal. So it's going to be a bit of work for you. But if we get to 100, then and we get over that, well, then, you know, maybe mentally I'm going to be in $1 million. But for you, we'll just do the things to get you to 100. So that way, if you fall quite a way short, you won't be too upset, because hey, if you make more than $5, you're ahead of most people.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty cool. What are your thoughts, Anil? Where should we go from here?
I think for next week, kind of have more of an idea about the brand, the logo, the name, just so that can be kind of a bit of the homework around coming up with, you know, that kind of strategy, and then maybe some thoughts on the pricing schedule for the signs and install and stuff like that, to have an idea, and then probably a video of Zach installing the first one, and, you know, kind of starting that journey on the social media side as well.
Yeah, I reckon you should get a Canva account. You can get a free one. You can ask it to make you a logo. You can ask it to design a service flyer. Just come up with something as a test version 1. You know, in that, because you're going to do your branding and your logo anyway. Come up with an offering. You know, what is it that you are doing? And just keep it really, really simple for now. Just say, you know, single level, 4-bedroom home, gutter cleaning at, you know, $500, whatever you're going to charge. Maybe even maybe before we do that, is ring around, you know, 4 or 5 other places and understand the pricing and what they're offering, so that you can understand whether or not you're competitive. You know, if they're hiring in the gyms, what are they charging? How long do they take to get there? What's their availability like? Because maybe you don't compete on price. And I would say that's probably the thing you don't want to do, is you want to say, I'm local, I'm faster, and you're supporting a young growing entrepreneur. So pay me 10% more.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like don't like gyms is $100. Don't go 80, don't go 90, go 110.
Okay.
Yeah. If we're going to meet that revenue goal, let's do that. And then, like, how many jobs a week could you do, like, practically? Obviously that'll improve as we start to systemize you, you know, get the the pipe with the vacuum cleaner, get you ladders. Like you're gonna have to buy equipment potentially, and so on and so forth. But maybe even look at identifying your subcontractors early on. So we've talked about a lot of things that you need to do. Let's just pick three. Brand and logo.
Yep.
A dummy version of a flyer, because that marketing needs to hit straight away, even if you modify it. And maybe the flyer doesn't say product. It says, I'm new. I'm doing gutters and light up signs. Here's my number. Let's have a chat. And then the other thing would be talk to like 10 people. So let's say 9. 3 potential clients, 3 potential contractors, 3 potential competitors.
Yeah.
All right. Sound good?
Yep. Perfect.
Any questions, problems, roadblocks?
No, I'm just keen to get started now.
Keen to get started? All right. And we've probably got our next week's session lined up. I think, for this one, we don't have a lot of, sort of backstory. Obviously, there's a little bit of the history there. But in the next session, what we're going to want to do is to say, tell us what you did. And we're going to want you to share screen and show your thing. Obviously, blank out your phone number for the sake of YouTube. But you can just show the Canva and there's just, delete that field and then bring it back up later.
Yeah.
And then talk through, the conversations that you had, talk through, any problems or roadblocks that you see coming up.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts or ideas, or are we happy just to roll with that?
You good?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you're watching, please do tune in next week where we go through and see the progress of Zach. What we're going to be doing is building out a $100,000 annual turnover service business in not Brisbane, sorry, in the Gold Coast, in a gated community where the demographic is generally older clients. So we're going to join us for the journey, see how we go. We're either going to be an epic success or a horrendous failure, but we're going to learn a lot. Follow us for the journey and hopefully you'll learn something too.